Welcome back, gang. Last week we focused on preparation because strategy starts before you ever write an offer, and getting pre-approved early gives you full control. Today, we're going to get tactical. In this video, we're breaking down how to structure your offer, how contingencies actually work, and how to negotiate when you're buying and selling at the same time without putting yourself at risk. How do you write a competitive offer if you still have a home to sell? When should you use a sale contingency? And how do you negotiate timeline flexibility instead of just price? We're covering all this and more today, so stay tuned. Really in step one, the preparation and pre-approval process, we really want people to start thinking about 2 to 3 months ahead of time, like that preparation process, because it's not just about financial preparedness, it's also about getting the house prepared physically, but also emotionally. You've got emotional ties to cut off.
Yeah.
The decluttering is a huge, depends. Some people yes, some people no, but getting those personal photos taken down, cutting yourself off emotionally from the house, decluttering, putting those things away, packing, put stuff into storage or the garage or whatever, like that's a process. It might take people a while. Sometimes people want to sell things or just get things situated. Give yourself some time to do it. You don't want to be doing that when you have found the house that you love and you now need to put in an offer. Now you've got to list your house and it's like
Chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8 weeks ahead of time, like that's a perfect time to be thinking about these things. Meet with an agent to start assessing market conditions so that you can also be thinking, 4 or 5 steps ahead as well. Step 2, list before you look. This is like right when you're getting started. Having your current home on the market really demonstrates seriousness to buyers. A contingent offer is not really going to carry any weight if your home's not listed, it's not ready, it's not on the market. Once that home's on the market, all of a sudden that offer's got some weight to carry. And then once you find a buyer, it's even stronger. Once you've gone through inspections, that's a really strong offer. The more that you can do to have yourself be prepared, the more strong your offer is going to be when you're ready. So do you want to tell us a little bit more about how pre-approval happens, Kat?
Yeah, I speak of it as if it's like a chair and it has 4 legs. Way back in the day, I'm going to age myself, when we printed our loan files and I would have to tag them for the underwriters. This is how we would tag them with little tabs. We would say income, assets, credit, and property, because those are the different sections in a loan file. They are that underwriters are looking at. If you are a chair and you have 4 legs, let's say one's income, one's assets, one is credit. If you have 4 really strong legs, that means the chair is going to stand, and that also means that your loan file is going to stand. So it's going to get approved, or likely get approved through underwriting, and you're going to get your home loan. If one of the legs is maybe a little wobbly in your chair, but you've got 3 other really strong legs, it can probably get approved, right? Like maybe the income's a little low, so the debt to income ratio is a little higher, but you've got great assets and great credit. Those are all things underwriting is taking into consideration. So that's where, like in loan files, sometimes you'll see it'll let our debt to income ratio go up higher than it normally would, things like that. I remember that being really confusing for me when I was studying to get my license, because the book would say DTI can go up to 35%, but I was actively doing loans on a team, and I was like, but I just approved this one for 45. And that is one of the compensating factors of like, yeah, that's kind of the standard, but if they've got 6 months in reserves, they're safer to a lender. Or really low debt to income ratio, they've got really good income and low debts, things like that, that it'll kind of mess with those ratios. So we're looking at it into 4 quadrants. If you've got 4 steady legs, you're probably getting your loan approved. 3 with maybe a wobbly leg, you'll probably be okay. You'll have some other compensating. If we've got only 3 legs, your chair is probably going to fall over, and same. May have to go into like the non
2 legs. Good
2 legs. Don't let the doorknob hit you, or the good Lord split you. Yeah. But with that, I will say sometimes when I show this slide, people say, "Well, I don't, my income because I'm self-employed or something like that." There are options. This is speaking to like a traditional mortgage, or talking about something that would be backed by like Fannie or Freddie. If you don't fit into these quadrants, there is actually alternative options. They call them non-QM, where not all of this is applicable. We replace that income box with like a bank statement loan, where we look at your bank statements and that's replacing the income. Or maybe you don't have income, but you got $5 million in the bank. So we're replacing that asset section as income and using asset depletion, things like that. Credit, we can, do a credit rescore when your application is coming in. You may have a 500 right now, but in 6 months or a year, we can get you to a 680 or a 700, things like that. So I don't want this to discourage you if you're not feeling like, oh, we don't check all of these boxes. Our chair doesn't quite have 4 legs. We can build you some.
Non-QM means non-qualifying mortgage?
Yeah, non-quality mortgage, non-qualifying mortgage. It's just, when I say non-QM, the terminology doesn't really matter. It just kind of means, I call it like the wild, wild west of like the non-QM arena of bank statement loans. We're not documenting assets, or income. DSCR loans, where if rents equate to the mortgage payment, things like that. So something that doesn't fall into traditional financing or Fannie and Freddie, or that's not going to be government backed. There are certain investors that have a higher appetite for risk. They don't follow Fannie and Freddie or traditional financing guidelines.
So wrapping up the timeline, we go into step 3, which is weeks 2 to 6. This is where the coordination starts getting really fun, where we're accepting offers while shopping. Once you're under contract, your purchase offer becomes really strong. Previewing and writing offers on homes simultaneously. This is the sweet spot where you've got offers coming in and you're writing offers at the same time. Feels like magic sometimes. Step 4, coordinating closings, week 6 to 10. You've got inspections going on, you've got vendors coming out. Ideally, when we've got back-to-back closings, we like to line them up so they call it sell in the AM, buy in the PM. So you've got one title signing for the sale in the morning, and then you've got the same day you're closing on the purchase in the afternoon. One thing that we do think is a real big pro tip with this is, if you can coordinate with title, if you can get both transactions with the same title
Please.
team, that is like butter. It doesn't always work out, but at the very least, if you can get really tight communication between those title teams, it'll make your life a lot easier.
Yeah, the title companies do this together all the time, so they're up for it.
Just talking through some offer strategies and contingencies, we've got some examples of just different programs, strategies you can use at different times. A sale contingent offer. This is something that protects the buyer and weakens competitiveness. It's not always a good idea. This is something you want to use when your home is under contract and it's in a fast-moving market. That's pretty much the only time that this is like a good, quick closing.
Yep.
Going back to what we talked about earlier with the bridge loan or a HELOC, these are good with people that have really strong credit. If they're using this when they want to buy before they sell.
Yeah, usually those loans are good for people that have equity, like quite a bit of equity in their existing home, but they're not heavy on cash outside of the equity. It gives them access to that before they're purchasing.
Rent back or post-close occupancy. This is something that lets you close both deals comfortably without having to worry about temporary housing. So this could be anywhere from 30, 60, 90 days of, where you become basically a renter in your previous home to that new owner. And depending on the situation, that can be free, it can be with rent, it can be with a security deposit, it can be without a security deposit. It all just depends on how competitive that offer situation is. But our goal is to always make it so people don't have to leave the house, that they're just going to transition from one property into the next without any sort of rental housing as an interim. When you think about negotiation, what are the first things that come to mind? I think most people in the public think of negotiations tensely, like haggling, that there's going to be bidding wars, that there's going to be stress. The thing that I want to incorporate into more people's mind is that negotiation is not about confrontation. It's about finding the alignment. That's where we are different than a lot of people, I think, is when we go into negotiation situations, we focus on transparency, we focus on building rapport with the other agents, and we focus on communication, because from the beginning, we want to position our client to be that best fit for that.
And that our team is going to be very communicative and be reachable, give you updates before you need updates. Everyone's in communication and everyone's involved.
Those are things that you can expect when you work with us, from the pre-inspection to the flexibility of the timeline, working with the terms of the contract. It's all about the negotiation technique.
This is where I'm spoiled that you guys just handle the negotiations and I can partner with you, but I am not in the thick of it.
Confidence comes from preparation. So the biggest takeaway from this workshop is, we want you all to walk away with an action plan. Getting pre-approved early, prepping your home before shopping, list before making an offer when possible, use sale contingencies and rent back strategically.
Smart.
When making offers. Timing is everything, but flexibility and good relationships are what make it work. Real estate's all about relationships and communication. So find folks that know how to get that done, and having a great agent is key. Shameless plug. Well, thank you, Kat, for joining us tonight. And thank you, everybody, for coming and participating in the workshop this evening. We hope you have a great rest of your night.